Michael Savage.
I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me. And I'll build them very inexpensively. I will build a great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words.
Well, I'm all in on Donald Trump. I know many of you are buying the hook, line, and sinker line that he's not in it seriously. I'm taking him seriously. And I have to say to you that I'm very honored to tell you that Mr. Donald Trump's idea to build a wall with Mexico came directly from the Savage Manifesto on Borders, Language, and Culture, found in my book, Trickle Up Poverty, where it was clause number 2 of my contract with America, the Savage Manifesto, where I said close the borders, use illegal aliens to build a wall between the United States and Mexico, have Sheriff Joe Arpaio oversee the project, pay the illegals for their labor in the form of a one-time worker fee, upon finishing, repatriate them. So thank you very much, Donald Trump. I'm glad that you are at number 2. Number 1 was English only. I'm going to ask Mr. Trump if he would make English the official language of the United States and require all who immigrate to our country to begin immediately to learn English as part of the requirement to qualify for the privilege of American citizenship. Likewise, Mr. Trump, would you require voting ballots to be written in English only? Welcome to the Savage Nation. Topic number 1 is Donald Trump running. Would you vote for him? Yes or no? Why or why not? Topic number 2 is the race scandal of the, well, I hate to say the fake black, because she has done more embarrassment for herself than anyone else. How anyone could defend this lunatic is beyond me. I think the woman should be investigated by the FBI for having faked her race for private gain. I think it should be a crime. Number 3, we have the meddlesome Pope, the Pope's mischief. As you know, the Pope is mixing religion with politics, which is a no-no in the United States. He has been selected, hand-selected by the New World Order. He's the first non-European Pope in 1,200 years. The same people who gave us Obama gave us this Pope. The same people who gave us Obama and the Pope are giving the world a good beating. He is from an area where Marx's theory was used to rule over the people. The Pope is a danger to the world. Yes, I'll be very clear on that. He knows about as much about weather as my... Well, let's put it to you this way. The only thing the Pope knows about meteorology is that when it rains, his highly paid aides in the Vatican take out umbrellas and open them for him. The man knows nothing about climate. And for a religious man to do this is incomprehensible. How the Catholic people can put up with this, I don't know. And by the way, if he hates capitalism so much and wealthy people so much, I think the Pope ought to begin with an example by selling off some of the great art in the Vatican. And I think this Pope, this deceiver, what do you think? Because someone wears a holy robe, they're holy? Are you people nuts? How many imams are terrorists? Oh, you're willing to go along with that, aren't you? Well, the Pope is a Marxist. I stand by those words. He is a wolf in Pope's clothing. He is an eco-wolf in Pope's clothing. He's a stealth Marxist in religious garb. What do you think? I have to get on my hands and knees for him? He's a man. He's a man, and I disagree with his big lie, and I resent mixing religion with politics in my nation. It's sickening. It's bad enough we had to put up with Obama mixing race with politics for all these years. Now we have to put up with mixing Catholicism with politics. It's disgusting. The world is melting down in front of our eyes because of men like this, the deceiver, the great deceiving Pope. And so we have to stand up to him. It's that simple. This is simple. But again, I would make an offer right now in order to help the world's poor and to help the Pope distribute some of the wealth of the Vatican. I, Michael Savage, hereby bid $1 million for any Michelangelo in the Vatican. It's an opening bid. I realize it may be worth more. Ha, ha, ha. I'll put up $1 million for any one of the Michelangelos in the Vatican. I'll even go a step further. I'll put up $5 million if they'll sell me the Sistine Chapel and transport it to San Francisco. I mean, I know it may be worth more, but think of all of the poor that could be fed with that $5 million, Mr. Pope. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is, and why don't you show the people you're not a stooge of the radical left? What a disgrace this world has become, that you would sit there idly and go in those pews and throw money into those pots. Pew on it. Pew on it. It stinks to high heaven. And I don't give a damn what he wears. I don't care what mumbo-jumbo he uses. It's disgusting to mix politics with religion like this in my country. Secondly, the man sounds like the false prophet in Revelation. He sounds just like the false prophet in Revelation. An ecumenical spiritual figure directing mankind to worship the Antichrist. The man is a false prophet. How could you buy this garbage? How in the world can you buy this? The world is cooling off. And the man is pushing this to attack capitalism? This is unbelievable to me. We're living in global tyranny right now. We are living in global tyranny where the big lie is told over and over again, and there's almost no one to stand up to the big liars. But let's go back to the main topic. Donald Trump, I'd vote for him. He'll be on the show eventually, not today, maybe another day. But I want to say again that I'm having a big effect on the thinking of Donald Trump, in my opinion. I think his advisors got that right out of my book. I wish he'd get some of the others, like defend the borders. I'm sure he'll do that. Defund and repeal Obamacare. Reduce the size and scope of government by cutting all federal departments except defense by 4% each year, for a total of 16% cuts in all federal departments over 4 years. Require government employees to speak English and to have achieved at least a high school diploma or fire them. Liquidate TARP. Oil for illegals. And that would be Mexico paying 1 barrel of oil per month per illegal alien that has snuck into our country. Let's say there's 30 million of them here. I want 30 million barrels of oil a month from Mexico, which they owe us. That is in the form of reparations for the generous free health care, free welfare, and other care that the illegal aliens from Mexico have received. Mr. Trump, would you strike down the anchor babies law, eliminating the loophole in our national law which encourages illegal immigrants to enter the country for the purpose of dumping anchor babies who become instant U.S. citizens? Mr. Trump, would you export jailed illegal aliens, overcrowded with almost 2.5 million inmates? 29% are illegal aliens. I'm sorry, of the 2.5 million inmates in our prisons, about 29% are illegal aliens. They don't even belong here, yet we're paying an average of $29,000 a year to house, feed, clothe, and entertain them. Would he deport them? Would he use profiling to prevent terror attacks? Will he name the enemy as radical Islam? Those are just some of the beginning questions I would raise. They're all in my previous bestseller, Trickle Up Poverty. I'm glad it's had its effect. Would you vote for him? Yes or no? Yes or no? Let's take some calls on this, because I think the next call is going to lay out the groundwork for something here. And by the way, there's 3 different topics right now: Trump, the race scandal, and the Pope's mischief. Those are the 3 topics. 3 topics. WBAP in Dallas. Jeff, thanks for making the show so big in your city. What's on your mind?
Dr. Savage, could Donald Trump be to Jeb Bush what Ross Perot was to Bush 41, and we end up with Hillary?
Now, that is a very important question, and although I respect Donald Trump, and I have to disclose that I am a member of the Mar-a-Lago Club, it would be unfair for me not to say that, and I go there about once a year. On occasion, I run into Donald, and I find him extremely charming. But this is a very serious issue, because when Ross Perot ran, I was the only one in radio, and I have the tape to prove it, to state on the air that he was running to undermine the Republican candidate to make certain that the Democrat won. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do, very well. And
I remember distinctly saying that because I saw it from a mile away, and people said, well, why would Ross Perot have done that? It was simple. People didn't know that Ross Perot had a very big company that processed the welfare checks, if I remember correctly. His company, a data processing company, I think it was EDS, if my memory doesn't fail me. Is it EDS? He owned EDS, huge data processing company that had a contract with the federal government to print the welfare checks in America. So why would it not have been in his interest to elect a Democrat? That's what I said on the radio. I don't know if anybody remembers that. I saw right through Ross Perot. Oh, I was taken in by his down-home charm. Why, when I get under that hood, I'll fix that engine that's sputtering. I'll put in a new fan belt. I'll make sure those ports and plugs are new. Why, I'll make the car of America run better. Now, who wouldn't have loved that con, right?
Exactly, and that's what scares me about Donald Trump. He has a lot of great ideas, But if he were to run as a independent instead of a Republican, then we could have the same scenario and we end up with another Clinton.
Well, I pray to God that he's not that cynical. But given the world that we live in, there is no way to know that at this time, is there?
No, there's not. That is the absolute truth.
So the giveaway on this, and I'm glad that you called on this, because the Ross Perot analogy is quite apt. The way to view this is that if he declares as a Republican, we'll say he's not doing it as a spoiler. If he declares as an independent, we'll say he is doing it as a spoiler, right?
Exactly. If he declares as a Republican, then it's not a spoiler scenario, unless he doesn't win the primary and then decides to run as an independent, and then we don't know for sure.
How many times have I said that as a popular talk show host, I could suck 12% of the vote out of the Republican Party if I declared? Didn't I say that? My estimate is 12 to 15% of the people would gladly vote for a nationalist candidate such as Michael Savage. But I said if I did it, all I would do was guarantee a Hillary election. So you're saying the same thing applies here?
Yes, Donald Trump could maybe even unintentionally be the spoiler that puts Hillary into the office. He's a brilliant...
Let's do this. If Mr. Trump agrees to come on my show, I will directly ask him that. I'll say people are concerned about it, and I think you need to clear the air on this. How can you assure them that you are not running in a Ross Perot spoiler manner? I would say it directly. He's a direct man. I, Michael Savage, am a direct man. He does not mince words. I would like to see his answer to that.
I would too, and I hope you do that, because the millions and millions of listeners who listen to you and believe in you want to know that scenario and what he's really up to.
My friend, you are right. By the way, are you a father by any chance?
Yes, I am. 2 wonderful boys.
Well, God bless the fathers of America, and we all have a holiday for men coming up very soon on the 23rd. And I'm sending you my novel, Countdown to Mecca, as my Father's Day gift to you for Father's Day, so stay on the line. Everyone who gets on this show today and tomorrow, right through Father's Day, will get a free copy of my best-selling novel, Countdown to Mecca. WABC, Tom, would you vote for Donald Trump, yes or no?
Absolutely, and the biggest reason for me is because he's not a politician. I'm sick of them all.
Okay, hey, that's how I feel, but we are a little leery, given the question that the last caller just raised. Is he a spoiler for Hillary?
I don't see it that way. I don't see he's a different party.
No, listen, I get it. I hope you're right. I like Donald. I want him to run. I think he can kick you-know-what. And I can guarantee you that if he really does run, he'll win. I don't care what the snide people in the media are saying. They're all snickering at him. This man could buy and sell them like toe dust. I look at these smiling women on CNN and MSNBC like it's a joke. He could get rid of it like dandruff between his toes. That's what they are to me. I look at them. I laugh at them. They're nothing. They're dust between the toes of a man cleaning his feet out. And this man, they're laughing at him. He could buy and sell their network. And this leads to another point that I'd like to make. That's something the media won't tell you. Oh, he's a very rich man. And guess what? Most poor people would rather trust a rich man in office than a poor man. Do you agree with me on that?
Of course, because he's successful.
Bingo. Right. Most poor people would vote for a rich man. They don't want to vote for a dirtbag like that other one, Sanders. That fraud from Union Square on a soapbox. They don't want a commie running for office. They're not going to vote for him. They know the guy couldn't run a souvlaki stand. If you gave Bernie Sanders a souvlaki stand to run, he'd wind up broke in 3 days. He would lose the permit from the city to sell a souvlaki, or somebody would sell him spoiled souvlaki. That's what you get from a communist running a business. No, I say that Donald Trump being a very successful rich billionaire is a real calling card in a country that's dying for a businessman. And by the way, having said that, boy, I'm running short on time because this is an exciting topic. The last point that I made, I'm not even selling the book. It's way past its lifespan, Trickle Up Poverty. But when ideas last, I have to say that I'm very proud to say my last point in this book, in my manifesto, number 37, run the country like a business, not an empire. How's that? I'll be right back.